It's now my pleasure to introduce Isiah Warner, and I hope his slides come up here fairly soon. Isiah is with Louisiana State University. He's one of our newest fellows that will be inducted this week. Isiah is going to be speaking with us about the LSU LA STEM Research Scholars Program, a model for broadening diversity in STEM education. Join me in welcoming Isiah.
Thank you. This program is the result of my love of working with students. I could see it in all of the panelists, particularly Dr. Berg, when she talks about students. I can feel that love. And this is what this is all about. I really enjoy working with students, and I've done so for many years. I took my own background and used that as sort of a model for bringing forth a program. And it has some similarities to the Meyerhoff program at UMBC, but also in the true context of LSU. And the result of this program is basically, you look at this, the Office of Strategic Initiatives is an effort that the Chancellor and Provost approached me about trying to do some things with students over a period of time. And so this office came about as a result of that, and at the end I'll show you what was the initial result. And so in the Office of Strategic Initiatives we have a holistic model of developing students, and I'm not going to go through all of that because I really want to get into the discussion about the program. But one thing you can notice is that we work with a range of students from high school to graduate students, and our model is basically involving a supportive, motivating, and diverse environment. Learning communities is what we work with in terms of our students in the various programs. And all of this, we believe, leads to academic success through three different approaches, or three different factors, and that is mentoring, education, and research. And I totally agree with Dr. Berg's comment that you need to get students involved in research as early as possible. Our students get involved with research in their freshman year. When I first started this, people said this is ridiculous. They don't know any science. How can they do research? Now it is a routine thing, not only handling on our campus, but across the country. I'm seeing more and more of that. So this program was funded by the National Science Foundation. And the way I approached the National Science Foundation was said, the Meyerhoff is not a model program. Now, if any of you know anything, that sounded sacrilege when I said that, because that's exactly the way the program officer looked at it. I said, nothing is a model until it's been duplicated. And that was the point I was trying to make. The Meyerhoff is indeed a model program, but I believe that I could duplicate something similar at NSF, and that's how this started. So I wrote a proposal to NSF and got it funded. And so the objectives of this program I'll outline a little bit later. But basically we have 25 high ability students, and we're going to, each year, it was a total of about 90 to 100 students when we were at full complement. So what we did, we had a special selection process. I'm not going to go into that. Improved study and note-taking skill, enhanced metacognitive skill, development of group interaction skills, et cetera. But I'm going to go through those in a little bit more detail. Now, what was important to me was that the program be a program involving diversity. I knew of Sylvia Hurtado's work at UCLA, where she talked about students that are around other people that are from different cultures, that think different than they do, tend to be better educated. And she has data to support that. So to me, diversity is an important part of education. And so you see that we have a diverse group of students, and I'm going to indicate here these are white non-Hispanic, black non-Hispanic. The yellow means women, and the purple mean men, and Asian and Pacific Islanders, Hispanic. And it turns out our selection process is such that these students essentially mirrors the state of Louisiana in terms of its population. And so what was important about this program was the participation in the summer bridge program, and we gave them various kinds of things that we thought were important to their success in the STEM field. And this is one student from my program, from my particular lab, who went on to get her PhD at Georgia Tech. And metacognitive skills, I learned that from one of my colleagues, Sandra McGuire. Some of you may know her. Learning how to learn. You have to know how you learn. Not everyone learns in the same way. So metacognition is a very important part of any program where you're trying to get students involved. And graduate school preparation. We think when we prepare our students that when they graduate from our undergraduate program, they're equivalent to about a second-year graduate student. And this has been reinforced when we send them off to graduate school. And I'll show you some examples. This young lady is one example. Got a letter from Georgia Tech when she finished her PhD that when she defended, it was more like colleagues talking to each other as opposed to a student defending before professors. They compared her to the top 10 of any student they've graduated in the last 10 years. And I get letters like that all the time from students who, or from professors who are involved with students from my program. We teach them lots of things. You can look at this. This is a freshman course, sophomore, junior, senior course. And there are various things that we teach them. You may not be able to read this, but I'm just going to pick highlight a few of these. Resumes and curricula vitae preparation, presentation of manuscripts, of papers. And so each year we would have some components. It was only a 1-hour non-credit course. It was not graded, or it was just credit, no credit. You didn't get a letter grade. And so, and it didn't count toward graduation. And because the university did not want to add on to graduation. But it was a course that I think was the most important part of this entire effort. And so our students went on, we required them to go and do research elsewhere. And beyond the freshman year, after they've been involved in research, they have to go elsewhere. And these, just some of the schools that they've been involved in. And even some of them have gone internationally to different areas, Antarctica, France, Spain, etc. And let's see, this is the highlight of the particular effort. Here's my program. Again, the yellow are African Americans, the gray are men, the green represent women, and the purple overall performance. You notice that women outperform all of the groups. And notice that within a reasonable era, all of the groups perform very well. And in fact, this is LSU's normal population, which has about the same GPAs and SAT scores, maybe a little bit higher for my group, but I don't think it's much higher. But notice that we've doubled the graduation rate. Our graduation rate in our program in STEM is 90%. This is in STEM. If I were to get the overall graduation, it's better than 95%. So we keep our students in STEM. These are in highly selective program, less selective institution, and moderately selective. So it's a program that has been extremely successful. And if you look at what the students are doing since they've completed their degree, more than 75% of these students are either doing postgraduate work or have completed postgraduate work. 75% that are doing postgraduate work. I think that's an amazing accomplishment myself, including this young man, Dr. Byron George. Oops, I didn't learn how to reverse this, but let me talk. I would be remiss if I didn't talk about what's going on in chemistry. There was an article came out about 3 years ago, and this is chemistry at LSU. And the title of the article, well, turn it? Oh. Yeah, okay, I learned how to do that real quick. The title of the article, Trends in PhD Programs. And the conclusion was LSU was ranked #1 in the percent of PhDs awarded to women and underrepresented minorities. I think we're proud of that accomplishment. First of all, we knew we were #1 in the country with regard to underrepresented minorities. We did not know we were #1 with regard to women. And if you compare compare this program, if you look at total number of degrees, obviously Berkeley ranks highest. It produces about 65 PhDs a year. We produce about 19 PhDs a year. Purdue is about 40, 33 for Texas A&M. And if you look at the ranking percentage of women, we're number one in percentage of women. Obviously, we're not number one in total number, but we're also number one in the percentage of underrepresented minorities. We're number one percentage of underrepresented minorities, and we're number one in total underrepresented minorities who get PhDs. And it was all of that effort that was going on in chemistry where the upper administration approached me and asked me if I could do some other things on campus. And basically, that's the conclusion of my talk. I welcome any questions. Did I stick to 15 minutes or okay?
We have a couple of minutes. There are a couple of questions for Dr. Warner. So I noticed you had entrepreneurship as one of the topics.
Yes.
Can you speak any to how many of the students have founded companies or?
They are just beginning to go and finish it. As undergraduate, I can't think of any students, well, some students were involved with their professors in entrepreneur. There were only a few of those, but as graduate students, many of these students have gone on and gotten their PhD and beginning to think about starting up companies. But more importantly, I think, is that they want to pay it back. They are thinking that the program that I started that they were involved in makes them want to do the similar things for other students. There was a young lady down at the bottom, and I didn't think I had time. I started to point that out. She's a white female. She went to the University of Florida, and she designed her own PhD program. But she felt that something was missing. I've been accustomed to working with other students, doing things and mentoring. Something was missing. So she started a program for mentoring underrepresented minorities. That young lady epitomizes everything about what I wanted to do with that program. And most of the students feel that same way. They want to do something more than just get an education. They want to help other students and help to promote the whole area of STEM education.
Thank you very much.